Okay, welcome YouTube. This is my video entry for Checkmate 95-91 competition racing shows your possible pouch. And my possible pouch is a little bit different. It's one that I've made myself. Okay, I have to start by saying this is about 4 years old and seen a bit of use. This was one of my first leathercraft projects. And since then I've improved a little bit. I mean, I've made dozens and dozens of these pouches for various bushcrafters throughout the world. But this was one of the very, very first ones, the very original ones, okay? It's kind of like famous as the Oz Haggis Head spawn. If anybody wants to know how to make one, just send me an email and I'll show you how to do it, okay? But the concept, the idea behind this possible pouch was as a Scottish sporran, okay? And that confuses some people because if you look today, modern sporrans are these big, hairy things with chains on them, and there's just a big bit of jewellery that goes with the modern kilt. But if you look right back at the early roots of the sporran, originally it was just basically a possible pouch that went on the belt like that. On the side, you'd have your knife like that, and it was for people who went out into the hills, Basically, they had that, they wrapped themselves in a blanket, in their little sporran or possible pouch, probably have some money, some oat cakes, maybe a little bit of bread. They would have probably a fire lighting kit. So basically the same thing. And the theory is that Scottish people going from America, immigrating from America, took their sporrans, and that's what evolved into the possible pouch. That's one of the theories, okay? So this is I was inspired by being in Scotland and looking at some of the very early sporrans that were quite similar to this. I kind of made my own version, my own modern interpretation. And like I say, this is one of the very early ones, okay? I make them much better today. Anyway, so essentially it's kind of like two uses. So if you're just scouting, you're just going like a little day trip, it's going to carry some kit. If you set up base camp and then you just like going scouting again, it's just going to carry some, you're not going to get that much in here. A bit of fire lighting food, a bit of fire lighting kit, food, maybe a knife. But this is, I kind of start with it empty and I'll show you how I use it, right? So I would usually, very least, okay, say I was going for a scout, backup compass, a little bit of a brew kit, let's say, okay, and fire lighting, let's say fire steel, okay. So I'm kind of going like in reverse, alright. So that would be the kind of thing just generally, right? There's no set, I don't have any set, it definitely has to be in there, but usually some kind of food, fire lighting, compass, okay. Sometimes a little folding knife. This is one I like. It's an old Optinel, vintage Optinel folder. I'm not big on folders. Sometimes I'll carry one, sometimes I won't. Whatever. And then usually it's kind of like odds and sods. There's a little bit of cordage. There was like a cut. If I'm doing primitive shelter building, you have a little bit of jute twine. This bit's all blackened and charred. That's good for tinder as well, so that would go in. Then, always walking along, you obviously have your flint and your steel in there. So you'd be walking along, always foraging stuff, I'm always looking for stuff to forage, so it's a bit of jasper. I'd find that in the ground, shuck that in. A little bit of chip for potentially could maybe be made into a cutting tool. Fire steel, use with your striker to make a fire, obviously. And I just find stuff I might find useful, like on a track. This was just a bit of leather come off somebody's boot or something like that, and I just thought, I don't know, maybe I can do something with that. Goes in there, obviously. Tinder, if you're walking along, you see a good natural tinder. That's a bit of melaleuca, bit of paper bark. There you go, in she goes, Where is this? I wouldn't usually put that much cordage in there, but a bit of cordage would go in there. What else? Yeah, this is a wick. I'm going to try charring this, so I'll take that in, I might char that down the line. I forgot to pack it in. Usually if I see something like this, I think this is a fox bone. I was thinking maybe I could use this in a craft project. Maybe make maybe a bit small for fire steel. Put it in peroxide, clean it up. That's the kind of thing. Always looking for stuff like that, foraging. Found another bit of jasper there. What else? Coal. I don't know. I found some coal. what are you going to do with it? I don't know, maybe it has some bushcraft uses I haven't thought of yet. Take it home, have a play with it, take it back to base camp, light it up. You know, that's how it rolls, you know what I mean? I just find stuff, just whack stuff in it, a few Mars bars in there. Alright, I found this, which is a horseshoe, and I like it a bushwalk. I just found it on the track, and I thought, oh, I'll just nab that, I'll see if it's any good for, you know, flint and steel. As it is, it's not. It sucks, but I just kept it anyway, because it's kind of cool, stick it in the door or something like that, out the back garden. So, you know, that goes in, you know. So you got all stuff that I take with me, and just stuff that I found as I go along. And I mean, this is starting to get ridiculous now. Ridiculously cram packed, right? I reckon we'll take the horseshoe out, right? Okay, but that's how it rolls, you know. Just, you know, always looking, you know. Bit of mat rush. There you go. I take that back to base camp. Maybe have a play with that. You know, do some weaving. Maybe use it as cordage. There you go. So that's how it kind of rolls. That's how I kind of use it. You know, they'll have a few things. Obviously, fire lighting, maybe a knife, some food. You know, and it fills up. And it's amazing. The people who have got these off me, that I've made them for, they would say the thing about it is it's just, you keep expanding it and expanding it. Obviously it'll go like that. Then you have your knife. That's how I usually roll with it, like that. That's the thing, it just keeps expanding. So when you don't have anything in it, it takes up no space, but you can get like about a kilogram bag of sugar in there. So that's how it rolls. That's my little portable pouch. It's kind of like a little bit of a different design, a little bit of a different take on it, but it works for me, you know. And it's quite a popular thing. People like them. Like I say, anybody who wants to know, I want to have a crack at making this, send me an email. I'll give you some links. I've done tutorials on how to make them, and that's it. You know, they're quite incredibly useful little pouches. Not everybody's taste. Not everybody likes, you know, leather and stuff like that. And as I say, this was an early one. This was one of the I think this was number 3, and I've probably made about 33 so far. So there you go. It's my little portables pouch.